How do you stand out as an offensive lineman other than your facial hair and your long flowing blonde locks?
Long flowing blonde locks,
Yeah.
yes. You don't, and you hope that someone notices along the way. So I started playing offensive line. I started playing football in 3rd grade. I started playing offensive line in 3rd grade because it was too big to run the ball. So there was never hope of having any glory in the end zone. And I became a center in 7th grade because our center at the time broke his hand, and they said, "Can anyone snap?" And I'll try. And
Because you just wanted to play.
Because I wanted to play, so I was like, "I'll try it," and there I was. So it's never. It's funny because in an offensive lineman's mind, you enjoy the glory that the other guys get. Like we're completely messed up in our heads where we don't want the glory. We want our running backs, our wide receivers, our quarterbacks to do well. And I don't know why we're bred that way, but that's how we are.
I want to take you back to college because you went to Ohio State. You went to the Ohio State.
Thank you.
You won a national championship. You were back up in 2000 and what year was that? 2002. You played for one of the great coaches of the era. When you look at Ohio State, when you look at the Michigans, when you look at the Notre Dames, the big programs across college football, this is a question that me and my co-host on my radio show debate all the time. How much do they cheat?
By cheat, what do you mean?
That means...
What are you looking for?
That means, how do you get all of these great players? I mean, you're a Pro Bowler. You're an All-Pro, maybe a Hall of Fame qualities player, and it's every single guy. How does that happen at these programs consistently?
Well, I would like to believe that for me personally, coming out, going into college, I had 2 scholarship offers. That was it. I had Notre Dame and Ohio State. I was a 3-star recruit.
Oh, that's it? You make it sound like you were a recruit. I could have gone to Notre Dame or Ohio State.
Have you heard these kids these days? They're like, I've got
Southeast
50
Michigan
scholarship
State.
offers. I'm the best that's ever been. Like, I feel like they throw these scholarship offers out like crazy. But you look at it, and I think it's developing talent, and then at the same time, the mystique of the big-name colleges.
Yeah.
You know, you'd much rather go to Ohio State than you would to, Southwest Louisiana Tech University. Like, there's obviously, if you are choosing between 2, you're going to go to that one.
Was it a no-brainer for you when you got the offer from Ohio State?
It was
being from Ohio.
It was very difficult because my mom, strong Catholic background, said, well, if you get offered from Notre Dame, you have to go to Notre Dame. And my dad, from the strong Ohio background, you get offered from Ohio State, you have to go to Ohio State, and it was a toss-up. Yeah. And I think I chose wisely.
Yes, you did.
And, it was...
Who would that have been at Notre Dame? Was that Charlie Weiss? No, was that...
There was a bunch of turnover at that time. Yeah. I don't even know who ended up being the coach. There was one coach there, George O'Leary, I think it was the guy. He was there for like 2 months. There was a lot going on with Notre Dame, and I'm glad I missed all that.
To the details of what you did for a living, because not a lot of people understand when you hear these platitudes that are thrown at certain offensive lines. This is the best offensive line in football, right? This team is so good, or this quarterback is so good, or this running back is so good because of this offensive line. It obviously always starts with the center, and I only say that because you're sitting here. You got to be the smartest guy on the field. I only say that because you're sitting here. But what makes a great offensive line? Because we hear it all the time, and I know because I had a really good one when I was playing, but I don't think a lot of people understand what that means when they hear that.
So I think with a great offensive line, there's a lot of factors that go into it. So I think first off, you need the talent, obviously. That's a big one. To get guys that are able to move, are able to bend, have the power, and have the ability to listen. Because you can be told what to do, but if you can't hear it, it's not going to work out. And then after that, it's the camaraderie. Like getting guys together, being able to have dinners, barbecues, going to guys' houses, knowing off the field. We had an amazing offensive line from 2009 to 2011 where we had guys that cared about each other, where you had, you had families that were getting together, their kids were getting together. when you know about someone's family and you know what they have going on, you're going to play that much harder for them, and that helps. And I think that is a big part of offensive line, being able to be a group, be one where I had a right guard, Brandon Moore, who by the end of our time together, we didn't have to make calls to each other. We just knew from looks and from time together that here's what had to happen. And that's a big part of it.
Now, that offensive line you're talking about was DeBrickashaw Ferguson. At left tackle, it was Alan Faneca. It was you, obviously, at center. Brandon Moore, he just mentioned. And then Damian Woody at right tackle. I mean, it was one of the best that you've seen in a long time. And you had two really good running backs during that era, too. Thomas Jones.
Amazing. TJ was, unbelievable. He would run over a guy without even thinking about it. We had a fantastic fullback at the time. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, Tony Richardson.
I seen him, and he's sitting right here in front of us. Tony Richardson in the house.
T-Rich.
He'll take his 50 a little bit.
Yeah,
exactly.
On the way back.
But I always used to talk about my line when I was as a runner. I had to dance with them. Like I had to learn the dance. I had to learn what you guys were doing. And I mentioned you had two great ones. You had Thomas Jones, and then you had LaDainian Tomlinson right after. What's it like to, I guess, block for guys that are that good at their game, and they make you look better?
Now, I'm not saying this because he's sitting there, but a great running back makes an offensive line better. And when they can see the holes, when they can see things happen before they happen, is huge. You know, when they can anticipate that the guard's going to get up to the linebacker and they know that they can hit that hole, it makes everyone's life that much better. And, you know, I think a big part of running backs, obviously, is running the ball, not arguing that. But another side is pass protection. A lot of people forget that, you know, running back is crucial in pass protection. And to have a running back that is able to be with the offensive line to know, all right, they've switched to this linebacker, so now I have this linebacker, and to make those adjustments is something that is amazingly crucial. And I think LT was one of the best that could do it, that he knew pass protection. He knew, I mean, we all know him as a runner, but he could pick up a blitz like no one's business.